Hi everyone, this is Matteo, it's your host from Codable, and today we're going to meet with Elson Ponte, a great guy who's also been working with WordPress for the past 10 years and also who's running his own agency. We'll get to that in a while. So let's begin and let's hear about his story as a WordPress professional, how it's like to run your own agency, and how working as a Codable expert in a way changed his life. So, hey Elson, thank you for joining us in this new episode to Change Your Life. We really appreciate it.
Hi, and thank you for receiving me.
Yeah. Okay, so are you ready? To get the ball rolling, why don't you start by telling us in which part of the world are you right now, where you from, but most importantly, how long have you been a freelancer?
Okay, so I'm a Portuguese from Portugal, not Brazil, and I live in a small island in the Atlantic, and it's the home of the football player Cristiano Ronaldo. That's what's best known for
Yeah,
outside of
nobody
Europe.
knows it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a pretty great place to live.
Hmm.
Sun most of the year, and it's relaxing, and everything's close by. So that's basically about what I live. I started using WordPress when I was still at school, and then I just kept working on it on side projects, on my own projects, and then I got some clients. It's while I was still studying, starting doing my first side projects. Then when I finished university, I got to a company, started working, continued using WordPress along with other frameworks, but I kept with WordPress because it was basically what most of the clients need. They
Hmm.
don't need more
Yeah.
than WordPress can offer because it's a great framework. And after that, I just took the leap and started my own agency, and Codable was a vital part of it.
Ooh, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get there. I know. But let's just let me ask you this first. Would you mind telling us what do you like about the freelance world? I mean, why did you ditch the 9 to 5 type of jobs and enter the freelancing world?
Well, freelance allows you for a type of freedom that 9 to 5 jobs don't offer. So if you
Hmm.
want to start, and I mean, if you started your regular job at 9 a.m. and you want to start freelancing at 9:30, your boss doesn't yell at you because you're late. Of course, you still have customers and you have deadlines, and it's a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. Most of the times, it's hard than a regular 9 to 5 jobs. It's harder because it's a lot on your shoulders. You are independent, you are liable for your actions, and you have to make your clients happy. But it's still better in
So much
every other
wisdom.
way. Yeah. So it's like you knock your head uh, against the wall. Sometimes you learn a couple of things, and that's business. And
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. Basically, I love it.
And let me just go with another question, which is pretty related to this one. Let me say something like scope creeper, tight deadlines, unpaid revision, time and resource planning. What does it take to be a good freelancer? And do you think anybody can be one?
I
I just,
think,
spitting out
yeah.
some keywords, like some scary keywords, just to set the scene. Now go.
No problem. So it's part of everyday life. Of course, some projects get delayed, some projects get underestimated, other projects, even in more rare occasions, get very better. They take less time, they take less headache than expected. But most of the times, you have to take in consideration a risk. And the risk is projects will get late, clients will take some more time than expected to answer and to make revisions, and they even may have this small little thing that needs to be fixed that was not on the scope.
Yeah, small.
So, yeah, that small thing,
A small thing.
but of course, you have to use your own judgment. That's what I do. If I see something that takes me like a minute or two, I'll just go ahead do it so the client gets happier
Happier. Yeah.
because it's a minute or two. But of course, I won't be doing it 10 times because if you add those up, yeah,
Yeah.
you're wasting a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
math. I mean,
yeah, yeah. But it also depends on the customer. Actually, the customers that have been getting on Codable are pretty much amazing when it comes to that. Some of them even expect me to just do whatever it takes because Codable does this teaching overhead that the clients, when they arrive, they expect a certain type of
hmm,
behavior and
yeah.
service, and they don't expect for something like freebies. They expect great quality work.
Yeah.
So that leaves us in a good position to, even if the client gets off scope, just gently tell him, okay, so this is out of scope, can we do it in a separate task?
Yeah.
And usually the client understands, as from my experience. Of course, every case is a different case, and it all depends on the chemistry between the client and provider.
Yeah, yeah, but it's also, as you smartly said, it's about one thing. It's about educating your customer. One thing is maybe sometimes it makes sense to go like over deliver. Those 5 minutes for really an actual tiny thing to fix. If you want to keep the relationship with that client good at a good level. Sometimes, as you said, if you add up all the 5 minutes for tiny things, you're going to waste hours at the end of the month, right?
Yeah, but that's it.
But I know another thing about you. You're not just a freelancer. You're not just a one-man band. You also run your own agency, your small agency called Sevenscope, right?
Yeah, it's a very recent endeavor, and this was something that Codable allowed me to do, to give me
Oh, great.
some economic stability so I could launch my agency slowly.
And what do you
And
guys do there as your core business?
so we just do WordPress, and
Hmm.
we, as a core business, we target viral blogs. I mean, blogs with a big amount of traffic that get
Nice.
visitors. So they just do original content and get visitors to come in. And
Hmm.
then we do consulting. We have even a customer that has a couple million visitors a month, and
Oh.
we did the consulting even from the first stage of the brand
Hmm.
up to the designs and then implementation, some small marketing techniques, and to grow. And we accompanied it to scaling the servers and
Oh.
getting
So also
the
on server
most of the
side, did
website.
you? Okay.
Yeah, even when it came to optimization of the revenue, which
Hmm.
ad networks to use,
Hmm.
and which ad blocks to use, and then optimizing speed as for also the Google page rank and all that. So it's quite rewarding to see a project go from an idea into a client's head into a full production,
Yeah.
large scale website.
Yeah, I bet it is. Yes. And would you mind sharing with us what made you took the decision and take the leap, from being one man band into a co-founder?
Yeah. So you know the story of the duck.
Hmm.
So a duck can fly, it can swim, it can walk, it can do
Hmm.
pretty much a lot of things, but it doesn't do that great. He's not a runner, he's not a big flyer.
Yeah.
And so what I did was essentially find someone that shared my passion for these type of projects, and then we identified our strong suits. So mine was development, and his was planning, uh, content creation, and all that. So we divided tasks. We teamed up. We started a small agency,
Uh-huh.
and our quality started to grow. Our stress level starting to going down because we depended on each other, and we want to build something that lasts a long time.
Yeah.
So that's basically the concept of the agency.
Uh-huh. Nice. Nice story. Yeah. And how were you able to scale from, being a freelancer to an agency co-founder? I mean, what were the main challenges involved in the
So
switch?
the main challenges was like for us to build something that we knew would be economically viable. So
Yeah.
if we started from freelancer to a company, it's a different kind of economical endeavor. So with a company, you pay tax in a different way.
Yeah.
You have to get a different legal structure. You have to have an accountant. Maybe we decided to go with that, and we have like fixed costs overhead, so salaries and taxes and most of our other utility expenses.
Yeah.
So it's a leap. You have to take in account if you have like a slow month in a couple of months or a slow couple of months, you have to have some money saved up for the bad times, and being able to always spot what the client will want next when it comes to learning new skills, to providing something that they need and they value. And that's the main challenge. So we do every day like 3 or 4 meetings, small meetings, standing up like in Scrum way.
Yeah.
And we do balances of what have we done so far. We do weekly, we do daily, and we do monthly. We do all types of balances in work hours versus profits. We also identified projects that went wrong and why. So next time we have a similar project, we know the right route to go to and what to keep away from. So we only take projects that suit our needs and not all projects that come up, because that's very important. You have to identify if the project is going to be something you can achieve well to satisfy the customer. So those are some things that when you have a small agency, you have to take in account most of the time, because it's all in your head and it cannot fail. Or at least if it fails, it cannot be disastrous.
Yeah.
So
right. And
always be prepared.
Always be prepared, always assess your improvements and your, what you've done, as you said, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and find your niche. So work with clients that, understand your value, so you get paid, right?
Yes, at the end of the day.
At the end of the day is this one.
Yeah.
This one.
That's what makes a good company or not, if you get money in or not.
So back on track. What didn't feel right or even seemed wrong to you that made you look for something new in your business life, like Codable?
Okay, so when you work for someone else, for a small company, you cannot choose what types of projects you do.
Yeah.
They just send you, okay, so we have this project, you have this customer, and you have to deal with the customer, either if it's a good customer or the bad one, you have to swallow frogs.
Right.
And so it's like something that when you have your own agency and you can make your own decisions, I can just say, okay, so I don't like this to work with this type of person because it's hard to work with them. So I just, okay, sorry, I cannot work on this project with you. And then I find another customer that I have a better connection with, and then we do great projects. Yeah. So that was something that made me want to switch. Also because we want to grow and build our own projects. Yeah. And we then have the option to take some time off from like the consulting jobs, gigs, and do our own stuff. Yeah. And it's also very amusing for us to be doing the things we like.
Yes,
other
of
than
course.
Some things that we want, that other people want us to do.
Yeah. Yeah, the motivation really push you.
Yeah. It also comes down to where do you see yourself in 2 years or 10 years? If you're working for someone else, chances are you're either going to change the person you're working for a better company or for a better job. Yeah. But if you work for yourself, you can see yourself like, where is this thing that I'm growing in 10 years? Really? And that's a very powerful way of thinking. That elevates your ability to work harder, and it motivates you a lot.
Yeah, and gives you like also your own personal picture. Yeah, of really your future. Even if we don't know how what future will bring us, this way we are more in control of it. Yeah. Exactly,
control. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, how did you hear about Codable?
So I did a lot of WordPress research for my last company's job, and I ended up finding some Codable WordPress related articles. And I was like, this platform has very good content. So I started just going around the pages, see what you did and see what type of customers you did. And then I was like, okay, so this can be a good opportunity to explore. And then I eventually prepared I prepared a website specifically to showcase my work.
Nice.
And then I just sent it over to the email, so to apply for a position, to be able to be a part of the community. And what happened was, first month no answer, second month no answer. I was like, okay, so never mind, let's go over. I saw that
let's move on. Let's forget about it. But one day,
a lot of people applying, yes, and they were full of reviews. They had no time to review them all. So I was like, okay, that's it. I tried. And then I continued with my life and doing some other work. Then this funny thing happened. I went to Web Summit last year, because I like to be involved with all type of web things.
Yeah.
And as I was like a day before going to Web Summit, as I was preparing for the trip, I got an email saying, okay, so you can do a test. So I was
Yeah,
like,
because
okay.
you went through, the first,
So I was like, okay, it's perfect timing. I
yeah.
was about
Wow.
to get on the
Lucky
plane.
me. Lucky
I
me.
remember I received the scope of the project. So I was like in the airport cloning, starting a team,
Oh,
preparing the repos for the project, and then I coded while waiting for the plane. And then
really?
while in Lisbon,
Nice.
I was going to, I actually skipped the first day Web Summit to work on the demo project. And then I worked pretty much all night.
Really?
And then I
Because
went
you
to Web
wanted to
Summit
send
the
it
next day.
out.
Yeah, I didn't want to quit. I wanted to deliver something great.
Yeah.
And then I went a couple of hours to Web Summit, just took the most of it, then came back, worked again, and then I submitted. And a couple of days later,
You
I
got an answer
got
back.
an answer saying, okay, so when you're available to have a chat. So this while I was still out in a trip.
Yeah.
And then I talked to Raleigh, which is a great guy,
Yeah, it
and
is.
he did a code tests and verbal test communications, and then that's it. As I was coming back from Web Summit on the plane again in the airport, I received feedback that I got in.
You got in.
I
Oh.
got my data. I was waiting for the plane again, so I was getting my login data, my keys to the vault, and was like, "Oh, awesome!"
So
So a
you
new one.
went to Web Summit before you as a non-codable expert, and you come back in as a
Yeah,
codable
yeah,
expert.
yeah. And then I
Nice.
was like, "So okay, so we have to make this work." And then I went to my colleague, which is now my business partner, and say,
Uh-huh.
"Okay, let's go
Let's
through this and take the
let's do
most
it.
out of it." And then a couple of months later, we started the agency, and now Codable is one of the main focuses right here on the
Nice.
agency.
Wow, what a
So
story. What a story,
yeah,
Elson. Nice.
funny story.
Yeah, yes it is. Indeed. Indeed.
So
And
yeah,
so how
next
long
year,
have you been a codable expert? Just to give me, some time, some ideas, some raw
yeah.
numbers.
So we started this Web Summit was in November, so I think
Around that
I
time.
started. Yeah, in the end of November, I think was when I started in Codable. In a couple of weeks were hard to get customers because no expertise, no finished projects. We have to grind and talk to the customers
Yeah.
hours on end to get them to accept us.
Uh-huh.
And then it's starting picking up, and it went good. So
Nice. And
November till now.
okay, so roughly 6 months,
Yeah, yeah,
right? So yeah, halfway mark for your first year at Codable,
yeah,
right? And first of all, congrats. And second of all, since you start, since you just mentioned clients and that at the beginning was a little bit rough. It was hard a little bit at the beginning because you didn't have any street cred, any reviews, and you were the new cool kid in town. What type of project you see yourself strongest at? I mean, quick
so
project,
yeah,
development, design, because you guys do almost the full stack of the services. So tell me.
yeah. So basically, when I started doing websites, my formal training is in interactive design. So I did some graphic design, and then when it came to doing websites, people wanted a specific thing. So some people just wanted like, okay, so just use a template and do something. And then I realized that most of the customers that I had, the local ones, didn't need an overbloated interface with a lot of different things that they won't use. So I just started, okay, so I'll just keep it simple, draw a simple interface, and then code it from there. And eventually I didn't start by using WordPress because at the time I think it was more than they needed. I started using Laravel with some basic specs. And then I eventually decided, okay, no more Laravel because the client eventually will need to add posts and he will need to edit his own content. So even if he doesn't, we better prepare a CMS for him in case in the future he wants to add his own content.
Yeah, right.
He'll safeguard our future better. And then WordPress all the way from that point on. And yes, so the design was something that our client really started to like because when I look at, for example, if I do a website for a restaurant, I go in, I know the building, I take some of my own pictures, then I look what they have, see the tiniest details.
Yeah.
So if I see there's something like they use in the decoration on the next to the windows or something like that, I just use that on the website. When the client arrives at restaurant, he recognizes that signal. It's like, oh, so
Yeah.
I get this.
Yeah, that's a smart move, man.
Yeah, so I pick up the color schemes and the small details, and then I design a clean interface with just that color scheme and that small one detail, maybe one or two details, and then I show it to the customer with, of
Yeah,
course,
and they
beautiful
99%,
pictures.
I guess they're gonna love it. I mean,
Yeah, beautiful pictures, like something that every client loves to have. So we supply that part to a good photographer.
yeah. Oh, so
And then
neither of the two of you shot photos. You work with another photographer.
Yeah, it's like the whole duck story again. In the beginning, we did the photos, and they were acceptable. We did some color editing, and it got good. But then we met some great photographers, and we were like, okay, so I don't know if the client wants to go with them. We'll try then to get the great photos, because at the end of the work, it will make our work better.
Yes.
The client will get a better service if he does with a pro photographer that only does photography.
Yeah.
So that's why we started just to focus on what's our strong suits and leave that part to the experts. And it ended up being a very good strategy, because clients eventually understood our vision and why we wanted someone great to do the photos, and eventually started accepting it. But this is like a part aside from the Codable. As of Codable, we have like clients that are far away, so we don't have that option.
Yeah.
But we can still do a design and interface, and to implement that customer interface into WordPress and have them build them a great product. We still didn't have the chance yet to do a project like that in Codable, but I'm hoping we'll have one soon.
Yeah, finger crossed. Yeah. And if you look at your past freelancing life and then you fast forward to today, how things have changed for you since you've joined Codable? I mean, are there any different?
Yes, very, very different. I mean, work now is more efficient, so I can just determine more accurately how many hours it will take to do a certain type of task. And then since I make myself and the team record how many minutes we did on pretty much anything, I can then go
because
back
you keep, sorry to interrupt, because you keep track of
yes,
every minute. Okay, nice.
I use a basic Scrum just to use to determine how many points a project took, or how many points we can do a week. So that basically gives us a perspective on how much work we can do a week.
Yeah.
And then by using the time tracker, we actually did so based from our initial estimation. How was the result or the outcome? Was it more time than expected, less time than expected?
Yeah.
So it allowed us to identify weak spots, improve on them, and become a better freelancer on top of that, of course.
Of course, yeah. We're getting close to the end of this super nice talk, but I have one last question for you, my friend. Were you able to do anything interesting that you weren't able to do before joining Codable? I mean, example that can fall under this is buying a motorcycle, booking a trip, or actually flying to an exotic island, or travel the world, or buying, I don't know, a super powerful latest MacBook Pro, or I don't know, anything that a geek will ever desire. Did you do anything like that? Are you planning to do anything like this?
I'm definitely planning. I still haven't got the chance, because as of now, as a business person, I'm trying to just keep the money in the business to protect ourselves from bad days if they come to the company. But I actually live in an exotic island, what can be considered as.
Yeah, so one you can already mark it off.
Scratch off the list. So this is great, because I was talking to my business partner. We're like saying that from now on to the summer, we have to make time to enjoy the island. So we start our days earlier. We end the work days earlier, and then we go and enjoy, do walks, to go to the beach and something like that. Because we have an amazing scenery, and most of the times we spend our days in front of the computers working.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's life. But we have to really enjoy it. And yeah, I would do want to upgrade my wheels and to get new Apple machines.
Uh-huh.
But yes, and some amazing chairs. We've been looking at the Herman Miller chairs. But yes, we have in a couple of months, if everything goes as expected, we'll get them.
Okay, nice. So I see that you already have, yeah, luckily for you, you live in exotic island, as you just said. So really one item is already almost gone, I mean, off your list, because you just need to walk out your office, right?
Yeah, literally, I can just drive 10 minutes
Oh,
and be on the
nice.
beach.
Never been
Or
there, but I'm planning to be to come
yeah,
there.
if you ever come by, just let me know.
Yes, of course. I would love to. And so, well, I think that's enough for today, Elson. It was super interesting hearing your story. Thank you for sharing it with me, with us. And once again, I would like to thank you very much for spending your time with me and all of us. So, wish you a great day and talk to you soon. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
The customers that have been getting on Codable are pretty much amazing. So when they arrive, they expect great quality work. So that leaves us in a good position, as from my experience.